Nora Heysen was born in the Adelaide Hills in 1911, and she was the daughter of the celebrated Australian painter Hans Heysen. Her dad was really a giant in the art world. He was like artistic royalty, and he'd been knighted in 1958 for his contribution to the arts. Being a giant, you know, you cast a long, big shadow. Hans really tried to step away to allow Nora to have her own space within her own artistic career. And so he stopped exhibiting a lot of still life subjects and a lot of portraiture, because these were areas in which Nora really excelled.
Well, I avoided gum trees. Her father put a copyright on gum trees.
When she gets to London, it's a kind of not so nurturing environment for her. It was a rough landing.
When I was in London, I had a very adverse criticism. I took my work to Charles Holmes, and when he asked me what I wanted to do, you know, which direction I wanted to take, and I said figures in a landscape, and he just laughed at me. And it crushed me. Absolutely.
She really was perceived, I suppose, as a bit of an upstart. But really what she was a very, very sincere young woman wanting to do her very best and was looking for approval, and all she got was disdain.
I was always called the, you know, talented daughter of the famous Hans Heysen. And then I got an urge to be recognised. I didn't know how I stood in my own work, and I wanted to be recognised.
Nora returned from London, and the first thing that she did was paint 2 portraits for the Archibald Prize.
I exhibited in the Archibald Prize, and I won it. I was the most surprised.
Heaven forbid a woman painting a woman winning the Archibald Prize.
At the time, the prize was worth £500. Now, that today would be worth about $45,000. Many men and many male artists, I think, were backpedaling and really taken off course by this because the money was there for them. It wasn't for women. Now, Meldrum comes out and said, you know, women can't possibly be successful artists. You need courage and strength and endurance. And he felt these qualities were impossible for a woman.
He was quoted in the newspaper just a couple of days after her prize as saying this: "If I were a woman, I would certainly prefer raising a healthy family to a career in art. Men and women are differently constituted. Women are more closely attached to the physical things of life. They are not to blame. They cannot help it, and to expect them to do some things equally as well as men is sheer lunacy." The Women's Weekly ran a feature article, and the headline reads, "Girl painter who won art prize is also good cook. Nora Heysen gives recipes for her favourite foreign dishes." I think if a woman were asked to do that today after winning the nation's biggest art prize, they'd basically tell you to get stuffed. Nora Heysen was the first woman to be appointed an Australian official war artist. It was World War II. The Women's Forces had just been formed for the first time, and this opened the door for her to apply for a commission. Nora's war art makes a significant contribution to understanding what women soldiers, nurses, personnel bring to a state of conflict. She was able to articulate in her work the inherent strength in the nature of these women, and she imbues these works with the bodily strength and the spiritual strength, and she imbues them with even her own strengths. You can see Nora and her character inside of these works. It wasn't until 1989 when she was rediscovered. The NGA went to visit Miss Hyson, the National Portrait Gallery went to visit her, they started to buy her work. She was back in view. She was celebrated in 2000 and 2001 with a major retrospective at the National Library in Canberra, and it was a triumph. It was the moment when Nora came to this exhibition. She was going to die just 2 years later, but she was able to say at the age of 89, 90, I've been recognised as an artist in my own right, separate from anyone, including her father, and she could be in that moment celebrated and regarded for the great artist that she was. She just didn't let the bastards get her down.